there, and welcome back to Weird Soda for Life. Today, I bet you're agreeing with envy. Ah, ah, you get it. Anyway, welcome back. Today, we are trying the original Green River soda. And I don't know about you, but when I hear the words Green River, I think of Chicago. And it turns out, so does this bottle. There's actually a little mini Chicago flag on the back. I'll show you guys when we look at the label. But I have to admit, I had never heard of this soda before now. But as I did my research, turns out that the joke's on me. Apparently, it was quite a prominent drink back in the day. But while the label says caffeine-free since 1919, it has its origins in Iowa, of all places, in 1916. Yeah, in a small shop in Davenport, Iowa, a man named Richard Jones ran a soda shop and was trying to find like the next big thing. He was close to the high school. He was trying to bring people in, trying to make his shop like distinct, right? And he landed on this of all things. And yes, the unnatural green color was there since the beginning. And so he starts creating this apparently lime soda, and people just flocked to it. But it didn't have a name until apparently one of his high school clients was like, "Oh, give me that Green River drink." Now, do I know if that's true or not? No, I don't. I mean, it's part of the mythos, but I'm sure something like that came up. But, but yeah, so 1916 in Iowa. So how does it get to Chicago? Well, in 1919, the Schoenhofen Edelweiss Brewing Company in Chicago, boy, that was a mouthful. Let's face it, you know what happens in the early 20s. Prohibition is coming, right? And a lot of breweries were seeing the writing on the wall. And so they're trying to figure out, well, what do we do? How can we start preparing for this? What can we offer that will keep our doors open, right? So they hear about this soda and they offer Mr. Jones like $100,000, which is like the equivalent of 1.8 million today, which is insane. But he's like, yeah, I'm done. And he pieces out and he takes the secret to the caffeine for the soda to the grave. Or at least I assume he does, because the label says caffeine free since 1919. So, like, what happened? But anyway, so long story short, they start making this green soda and it just takes off like hotcakes. Like between Prohibition, of course, and it being a distinctive color. And then, weirdly enough, Eddie Cantor, who is like a famous 1920s, 30s singer, you should really Google him. He's utterly fascinating. Makes a jingle about Green River, and it just takes off. It is like silent generation viral is what's happening. So it just like booms. And in fact, from the 30s to the 50s, it is the second highest selling Coke soda in America, behind Coca-Cola, which boggled my mind because, again, never heard of it. But then I did learn a gross fact about that. Apparently, until the 50s, Coca-Cola was one of the few to like wash their recycled bottles, apparently, according to this one article. They were the only ones to wash their recycled bottles, and that's what gave them like the edge. And that's gross, because if that's true, like, it really does make me question why this soda was green and why is it green now. Anyway, but yeah, 30s to the 50s, hotcakes. There is an unsubstantiated rumor, in fact, that this is the soda is the reason why Midwesterners on the whole call their sodas pop, because kind of like those Ramune, I admit, like, I've had them, but I am ignorant. But like those Japanese sodas, I'll just skip that, where it has the bottle and the neck, marble in the neck of the bottle. Apparently, the Green River sodas did that too, to seal up the bottle before they had caps and stuff. And so in order to open up the soda, you had to pop the marble out of the neck of the bottle. And so that is an unsubstantiated rumor about why Midwesterners call it pop. A real thing, though, not just rumor, is that John Fogerty of Creedence Clearwater Revival named his song Green River about this. He actually says that in an interview. Now, of course, he had it in California, which kind of speaks to how broad it had spread during like the 50s and 60s. But again, you know, I don't know. I've openly said that I don't know anything about this soda, and I'm willing to bet that most of you don't either. And here's why. So that brewery, so we talked about Prohibition, yeah, woo, soda, and then Prohibition ends, right? But it's taken on a life of its own. It's still super popular, but the breweries are going back to brewing beer, and so they're like tapering down some of their soda. Um, and then people's beer choices change, right? Like the market. Long story short, the brewery that had it, the Schuenhofen Edelweiss, closes in 1950. That doesn't mean the end of Green River as a soda, but it does mean that like the biggest manufacturer is gone from the playing field, and so fewer manufacturers are making it. It's starting to lose like market, and eventually by like 1993, the only place you can actually buy this soda is Chicago. So for me, I think a lot of my ignorance comes from the fact that I'm not from the area. And even now, I don't make my way to Chicago all that often. And I'm certainly not going during St. Patrick's Day, which is apparently like the month leading up to St. Patrick's Day is like it accounts for 30% or more of the annual soda being sold this year for this. So, but yeah, so by the mid 90s, it's only sold in Chicago. But remember the Green River, like the Chicago River we were talking about earlier? So by the 90s, the dye that was being used, it was an oil-based dye that was being used to dye the Chicago River. A lot of people were upset about the ramifications of putting an oil-based dye into water. So lo and behold, in 1995, like the last distributor of Green River, the soda, says, guess what? I got a vegetable-based dye that I use in my soda that I would love to give to you guys so you can put it in the river instead of this oil-based thing. So yeah, the Green River, the soda, saved Green River, the Chicago River tradition. Now I will say, that, of course, though, today there is a different sort of dye. They've moved away from that too. But with kind of that revival and being able to tie in the soda to like, well, frankly, tourism and stuff, it has a resurgence. And today, yeah, it's ubiquitous with Chicago. But weirdly, it's owned by Sprecher Brewing now in Wisconsin. So it's made its way from brewery to brewery, and you can get it today. And they've actually done a couple different spin-off flavors. There's a cherry one and a raspberry one. I haven't tried either one of those, but apparently I could buy them online, and you can buy them from certain stores in the Midwest. So that's your fun history fact for the day. Let's look at this unnaturally green soda, shall we? As I talked about before, this is a pretty simple label. The design hasn't changed all that much since 1919. It used to just have Green River on the bottle, but now it has this. And yeah, on the back, as I talked about before, it's got, let's see, but you can see right there, Chicago original. So yeah, I mean, kudos for it. It also says on here, like us on Facebook. They do have a Facebook, but I don't think it's been updated in like 5 years. So, so maybe don't expect an immediate response. With that, it says, rich in history. As Prohibition was established in 1919, Green River soda was introduced to the world. The lime-based soda with its vivid green color was an immediate hit. Today, we celebrate Green River's rich history, and it has www. Green River Soda on it. And when I tried that URL, it took me to the Sprecher website. So again, with that, let's get this bad boy open. No. Is it not? Oh, look at that starting to bubble up. Wish this had a marble in it. It was a twist top after all. I have been betrayed. With that. Well, it definitely smells limey. Let's see. Yeah, see now this looks the way I expect green to taste. But we can get up in there. It is as green as you imagine. It looks to me kind of like green apple soda, but it smells like lime. Actually, it smells like lime syrup, like the kind you put on a snow cone. It smells like that. So rather sweet and distinctly like sugary lime. With that, thumbs up. Yeah, that's good. Like maybe because I didn't grow up in Chicago, I'm not sure why people are like, "This is amazing," but it is very, very good. I saw online that people were recommending maybe making a float with it, and I would actually recommend that too. I think a good vanilla ice cream would cut some of the sweetness of the lime and actually make it a much better, well, not much better, but a better drink experience overall. But that is rather good. I can see why it has staying power, but again, I'm just genuinely surprised that this soda that has such a rich history, for me, was undiscovered. So I'm glad to have discovered it now. And I would say if you're feeling festive, go see if you can find a bottle. It's a nice lime drink that you can take home to mom or dad or someone who likes artificial green soda. But yeah, no, it is very good. I would highly recommend it. Go get it. Um, and with that, next week we have a guest. Mr. Weird is back, and we are going to rekindle our passion for one another by trying a love potion energy drink. Don't know much more about it than that. I just kind of thought it'd be funny for Valentine's Day, and Mr. Weird is always a good sport. Until next time, drink weird and drink sodas with a heavy color tradition, I guess. See you next time.